never say such a bad thing and leave it to go without attaching some money. They will hang some money around it. So the hustler Ruto is looking at the man. I grew up from the village. You'd see like these rats. So you'd get this trap. You get this hook. You put some ginners. So the rat comes. The rat has seen this is a trap, and it will kill me. But then the rat wants the ginners. So it starts rotating around the trap, rotating. As it rotates, it's getting more hungrier. And now it is seeing even that it is possible to remove.
The appetite is
finally, it says, maybe it is not.
If I die, I die.
It goes. This is what these Americans, Trump, is doing to Africa. He is doing a completely wrong thing by attaching money. And when he attaches money, William Ruto is taking a lot of time explaining the goodness. You see, why did the appointing authority from the 50 million Ugandans?
Zero. Yes.
Because of his extraordinary
Absolutely.
contributions that he has made to society.
Absolutely.
So, if he's a Canadian, why did he go to Canada, acquire skills? Why did he go to Rwanda, acquire skills, and come back here and implement it here?
These are some of the
where is his spirit? Because, comrade, I have traveled around the world. Everywhere I go, I was in Burkina Faso, I was in Ghana. Everywhere I go, Kenya, where? Rwanda. I pick out. Okay, every society has their own weaknesses. But for me, when I go, I pick the positives.
Yes.
When I pick the positives, I bring them here.
That's the most
I start practicing them here. If Muganga does not have the Ugandan spirit, the man has traveled all those countries, not just Canada and Rwanda alone. No, the man has been to about 56 countries of the world. Everywhere he has gone, he has picked knowledge and skill. And finally he came and settled in his motherland. Now, when he started, by the way, when he was away, what were we doing with the rest of the genuine Ugandans, the 100%? What were you doing? How come he came and found a window, a weakness, where he could now add his contribution? How come?
Free your mind now. Be part of the People's Pan-African Parliament. The Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe.
The Pan-African Pyramid Round Table. My name is Andrew Irumba Katusabe, your speaker, with my usual comrade here, the suspect, Comrade Daniel Rugarama Karotiko. He's a lawyer. He's an international civil rights lawyer. He's a recipient of the Pan-African Pyramid Gold Award class of 2024. But he's also the chairman Pan-African Movement Uganda chapter.
All the pleasure is mine, my brother. And a very good morning to our esteemed viewers, listeners, and participants across the board. On
29th of August, 2026, this year, 29th of August, mark your calendar. It will be the 9th edition of the Pan-African Pyramid Global Awards at Speaker Resort Munyonyi from 2 p.m. Please get your card, your dinner card. It's a dinner event, it's a dinner gala. So get your card. You can call on those numbers on your screens. Come on to be passing them through to book your dinner card. Bishop Joshua Mapong, renowned Pan-African from Zimbabwe, is the key not speaker. Dr. Sudiru Paredia is our chief guest that day. Comrade Rugarama.
I will be there.
You of course for you.
Make no mistake.
Do I need to remind you? The problem is you not to be there.
Absolutely.
Because I did not tell you.
And I will make my presence felt.
The problem will come for you not to be there because you did not tell me. We are here.
I know.
Yes. So what made the news in the Pan-African context around the world for you? Before we can go into our main topic.
Generally speaking, of course, we are still having senior comrade and president of Venezuela, with his wife, Comrade Maduro, with Florence in an illegal American prison, and they are all sorts of movements campaigning for his unconditional release, or their unconditional release, because they are together with the wife. These movements are growing across the globe. We still have the unexplained and, if I may use the word, silly economic embargo on Cuba. Forget about the Guantanamo Bay invasion and occupation, but there is this now serious reinforced the economic embargo on Cuba. We have the stalemate in as far as the so-called peace talks are concerned in the Middle East between Iran and America, with her little cousin Israel, and of course, so there is a growing global debate about the unipolarism as compared to multipolarity. So really the debate is around that, and of course Europe having to contend with their limping antics in as far as the Ukrainian war is concerned, and Russia intensifying the bombardments, not making the situation any easy for not only the Ukrainians but also the Europeans they have really projected their power in Europe, and they have told the rest of Europe, because Russia is also Europe, they have told the rest of Europe that even when you had a lot of faith in your big brother America, we have done this and they have done nothing about it, and therefore next time you know better.
What you're talking about, there's one thing I learned that Trump has introduced. You see that crazy man in Trump? People have not understood Trump's politics. It's intentional. This world went to world wars, two of them, World War I and World War II. Why? At that time, it was like survival for the fittest. Jungle law. If you're powerful, Mr. Rugarama, you come and take what belongs to the weak Irumba. So the world said, no, we can't live like animals. Let us put some rule of law. And all people, powerful, mighty, and the weak, must all adhere to the rule of law. And they put that under the UN, isn't it? What Trump is doing today, by going to what is this country? Maduro's country. Venezuela.
And picking the president.
Pick a leader with his wife. Put them in his custody. You know?
Move
Come back.
Iran.
Come to Iran, invade the country, and he's very, very equivocal. He's saying in his attempt to make agreements with them, to make deals with them, he was saying, there is one time when he came and tweeted and said, now Iran has given me access to their resources. And now that was my primary objective. Now that they have accepted that, it's okay. The war is ended. He's showing you that his interest is not about rule of law. It's not about justice. It's about America first, MAGA. At all means, including taking the resources by force. And when you refuse, they kill you.
Probably that we should also mention that it has never been any different. Make no mistake, not Europe, not North America has ever extended their tentacles into the rest of the world for purposes of restoring or disciplining those societies into the so-called democracy. Their democracy is nothing but hegemonic imperialism.
Very good. Now, he comes to Congo here, and his interests are purely the mineral resources
Yes.
of Congo.
Yes.
So the point I wanted to make is that it's very clear that Trump now doesn't want to hear anything to do with the rule of law, UN. No, he doesn't want. He has brought back the reason why the world went into World War I and II. Now, it is the might who are right. The might. Trump is the mightiest, he's right. He can come to Maduro, Venezuela pick you, he can come to Congo, cause now they are saying there is Ebola in Congo, but the Americans are in Congo. UN choppers are dropping in Congo every minute.
They have done
if there is
nothing
Ebola
about MONUC and MONUSCO, the two elements that comprise the biggest UN peacekeeping mission in the entire world, but concentrated in DRC. You are not going to hear anything like that. They have scared down on the staff of those two agencies. And you ask yourself, why are they restricting?
However, the natives who are the strongest compared to the white man, when you look at the black man, the resistance to disease, and the white man, the black man is more resistant to disease. For those ones, they are saying, please leave. They are sending them to concentrated camps.
They have lifted Uganda to fourth level alert. That now they have not been even issuing visas, but this time they cannot issue. If you don't have already, they cannot issue a visa to America. I mean, that's just arrogance.
So my point, Comrade Rugarama, you are saying there is Ebola in Congo, but you're increasing your numbers and the presence in Congo. Meanwhile, the natives, you are telling them, please leave, go to concentrated camps. That's why we have the biggest number of Congolese as refugees in Uganda. But we don't have any refugees from America. No, they're in Congo. They are not refugees. And they're in mineral-rich areas. So, it is very clear that Trump's style of leadership today that he wants to inculcate again back into this world is might is right. But the UN and the rest of the world, they are still, I think, sugarcoating things. They are not being straight. They should tell the world that now Trump has skedaddled from the norms, the just norms of how we live coexistence in this world, to might is right. Survival for the fittest.
Yes.
Law of the jungle. In the bush, the lion, if the lion sees a cob, and the lion feels he wants to have breakfast, you're not going to tell the lion any type of law that bars it from eating another. No.
Yes,
it is your speed that will save you from the lion.
Absolutely.
If you don't have the speed, you're gone.
And that's where we are.
Now, this is what Trump is reintroducing in the world. Might is right. I can come to Congo, remove all of you, take your resources. I can come to Venezuela, even take the president who was giving me hard time. Easy access to your resources.
And give all manner
I see this roadblock.
excuses.
I see this roadblock called Maduro. I remove it. And the world is supposed to clap for me. That is where the world is going.
But you see, again, what we must get to know is that some of these things, like the Bible says, some of these things, all the things we are seeing are not new. They were there. Truth be told, there was no difference between Trump and Obama and Bush Jr., Bush Senior, Bill Clinton, all of them. The difference is in how they implement the so-called interests of America. Maybe what may appear as different is that there is an element of Trump being, apart from advancing the so-called interests of America, as if other countries don't have interests, he also advances his Trump empire interests. that when he invades, for instance, Iran, when he raises down the Gaza Strip, and he talks about construction of a Riviera, he's going to front companies where his son-in-law is the director. That can't be America now. It is the Trumpism and Trump empire interests. But probably for him, see, there is this habit of saying African leaders, they are undemocratic. The democracy, there is nothing like global standards of democracy. China has a different way of looking at democracy. Look at where they are now. It is argued that even as we talk, it is the biggest economy. Although there will be arguments that, look, America is still the biggest economy, but in terms of trading with Africa, etc., you can clearly see that honestly we have got China, who practices her own brand of politics as a unique country, and it is actually overtaking the so-called the democratic, quote-unquote, democratic countries has already overtaken them, and is expanding her tentacles in the rest of the world. You don't have, in other words, you don't have to toe the lines of the former colonizers now who turned imperialists for you to be able to grow your economy, develop your people, have a decent living standard. And on this, I think that if anybody doubted that we have been hobnobbing with the imperialist America and Western Europe under deception, now it is time to clearly see that actually America has never meant any good for us. Neither has Europe meant any good for us. Because when you look at their type of debate in the European Union, in the individual parliaments in the UK, where it is all about how can we maintain our superiority complex, advance our interests in these smaller, and they will belittle you. You see, when you constantly tell some lie to somebody, it reaches a point where that lie is believed. For a very long time, Africa has been told that it is weak, it is incapable of governing herself, it cannot stand without the direct intervention of Europe and North America. And because it has been told for over 65 years now, the majority Africans who through the confused education system and other exigencies like religion have come to believe that we actually cannot stand on our own. And that explains partly the dilemma that Africa and other parts that have been under the great grip of those imperialists. What we are going through can best be explained from the stories that have been handed down to us. I would want to really, in a way of summarizing on this, tell our esteemed viewers that we are not going to claim, just not long ago, we were celebrating the African Liberation Day. But when you look at the vigor, yourself you are complaining, you went, the vigor with which a country like Uganda, for instance, it has not gazetted it as a public holiday, and people take public holidays as just days to go home, sleep, maybe go to a bar and what have you. You can see the lazy mind with, you will forgive my language, but there are no better ways of describing such situations. public holidays are days of reflection. Now you get a situation where Uganda, which professes to be a Pan-African country that practices Pan-Africanism, whose president is the patron of both the global Pan-African movement and the national chapter, whose a number of ministers, especially the old stock, the Kaindotafides, profess Pan-Africanism. They have never thought and engineered proclaiming that Africa Liberation Day as a public holiday. But there are other public holidays which I don't want to belittle, but in my opinion, we should not have taken effect without first recognizing the Africa Liberation Day. That is one. Two, there is the unfortunate occurrence, a repeated unfortunate occurrence, where we have refused to adopt our own brand of politics to shape, because it is leadership at the end of the day. Like Chunochere said when he was writing the book, The Problem of Nigeria, and he says it is nothing but leadership. The moment we don't address the nature of politics on the African continent, we are not going to get anything solved, because we shall be looking at our problems through the lenses of an imperialist now, who every day devises ways through health, through education, to entrench himself and advance his interests here against our own interests.
Very good. Come on, let's switch to the latest. Is that although Netanyahu in Iran wants to hit back Iran, Trump is changing his idea. This time around, he's saying he's not willing to join Israel in launching fresh attacks. What's your reading in that?
Well,
Is Trump
quitting
sparing his strength? Is he sparing his strength, or he's actually seeing that he can do nothing?
There are many
even if he chose to join him.
There are many things that have changed since that war started. One, the alliance which Trump thought he would get from the member states in the Persian, the Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, etc. Majority of them have told him that, actually I think at one time, was it United Arab Emirates or Saudi? They told him that you cannot use our airspace as long as you are going to use it for purposes of attacking Iran. Now, Iran has made it very difficult for United States of America and Israel to have the Persian Gulf member states continue to launch attacks against Iran, and because what has been happening is that in terms of losses, the America has occasioned to United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, etc. have been sizable, and they don't want to continue that way because they will forever live with Iran, but they may not forever live with America. America is quite a distance away. That is one. Two, the projections. Trump was excited. He thought this, because remember, it was immediately after he had just captured Maduro with the wife. He was therefore riding on great success, and he thought that it was going to be business as usual, even in Iran, only to reach there, and after taking out Khamenei, he thought the rest was going to be easy. He had even started engineering a rebellion from from Iraq, border with Iraq and Iran, where there have been the presence of the rebels fighting the Iranian government. Actually, they dropped arms And they thought that they would arm them and they would pressurize and increase on the speed of the rebel activities so that they can overthrow the government and install their puppet government. They had actually prepared one of the exiled Iranian who claims kind of entitlement that he actually should be either the head of the state or somebody that should actually be the president, had it not that the Iranian government changed by way of overthrowing them. So they prepared that one and they thought it was going to be very quick, and they changed the government, and then Israel would be safe. But they have since realized that that was not so. Even when they have killed a number of Iranian senior military officials and political heads, the Iranian government has not fallen, and they are instead increasing on the resistance. So that therefore explains why Trump may not see a lot of sense in again launching fresh attacks, which he knows they are going to be retaliations, and the immediate retaliations, because Iran may not launch direct attacks in Washington DC, but they are going to target the neighboring countries, where certainly America uses those bases to launch the attack on Iran. Three, if you like, Israel has for a very long time thrived on deception, because they claim the Mossad, that they usually share intelligence information with what is the CIA. But truth be told, this time around, they misled the leadership in Washington DC, and the attack has cost the taxpayer in America. Trump is getting a lot of slapping across the face from the
Trump last night ran away from an interview. I don't know if they've seen that.
That is very interesting. You know, he's just
he ran away.
He's just a grumpy old man, but who does not want to admit that. So when you look at the legislative bodies in America, they have time and again held the president, the vice president, secretary for war to account, and they have not accounted for anything. So the pressure, the internal pressure of the Trump of the legislators against the Trump administration has been mounting. Now you look at the alliances. Europe has, in a manner of speaking, isolated the United States of America, because Trump thought that Europe, UK, and what have you, the usual allies, would actually support him in this unholy and unwanted war, including even the statements that came from the Pope Leo, who said that this war is just uncalled for, and he was very categoric that they needed to stop it as early as yesterday. When you look at a combination of all those factors, including, by the way, if you didn't know, but I know that you know, the Hezbollah forces have really held in trunks. They have held the advancement of the Israeli infantry. You know, Israel had gone into Lebanon, and they had carved. They had entered a good distance, such that they could prevent the Hezbollah from launching into Israel. Now the Hezbollah, who essentially, by the way, are the Iranians, they are the ones who they go, the Houthis, the Hezbollahs, they create those outfits for purposes of guarding themselves. It's like America also creates like these satellite states and also military bases. So Iran is also not wrong. And what the Hezbollahs now are doing, they have pushed back. They have even destroyed a base of Israel, and they have held them from advancing in the territory held by the Hezbollah of Lebanon. When therefore you cumulatively look at all those factors, you can see that away from the moral authority which America thought that would be given by the members of the Gulf state and Europe, it has not gotten that moral authority. When you look at the internal pressure mounted against the Trump administration, it is not in their favor. When you look at the cost of the war so far, it is very astronomical, and it is not in the favor of what the taxpayer, the voter in America would want. When you look at the actual war, what are the gains, what are the losses? And remember that we are always subjected to biased media reporting, because we have CNN, Sky News, BBC, Fox News, etc. They maybe a bit of Al Jazeera, and they are not giving us the actual news. But the truth of the matter is that America and her cousin Israel are suffering losses, both human in terms of human beings and also in terms of money, property. So you can see that this is not a war. One, even if you are as stubborn, I don't want to use some of these other strong words, as Trump, you would really see that there is. But there is the worst one. The worst one is that the generals, the United States generals who are at the battlefield, they have started sabotaging the orders of the commander-in-chief Trump. When he says shoot, when he says blockade the American, the Russia, the Chinese Navy, they allow them to pass, because they know what it costs to blockade a Chinese Navy, the retaliation. That is extending the theater of war to China as well. So you can imagine, essentially, therefore, in a manner of speaking, one can safely conclude that the Middle East war, which USA and Israel thought that they would just walk in there and win in a minute, the old civilization, or Persian old civilization of Iran, has now presently, it is very evident, has come out, manifested itself as superior, and really, under those circumstances, Comrade Rumba, it is agreeable, it is agreed that we like it or take it or leave it. There is no way you can say that Trump can continue to have a war. Trump cannot continue to have a war that he knows he is steadily and surely losing.
Very good. Comrade Billions-Rugarama Karukiko, chairman of the Pan-African Movement Uganda chapter, an international civil rights lawyer, and the recipient of the Pan-African Pyramid Global Awards class of 2024. Your speaker is Andrew Irumba Katusabe, and this is the weekly round table. Comrade, we started from America, we came to Iran. Now let's switch to South Africa. Afrophobia, not xenophobia, Afrophobia, black against black. What did you learn from Ramaphosa's leadership style? That the country, South Africa, if you just land there and you don't know, you may think it has no president, it has no leader. People, goons, in hundreds of thousands, mobilizing themselves, start invading what they call foreign business shops or businesses, attacking, forcing people out of their businesses. And the government and the police of South Africa is mute. It is only, I think, yesterday but one, that and by body language, you realize that Ramaphosa is either not in control or he's in support. Two things. Either he's not in control or he's in support. He made a statement that no South African has the legal mandate of doing what they are doing, chasing foreigners out of the country. That's what he said, and it stopped there. But when you look at the manner and the straight at which they are doing it,
his body does not is not in tandem with his words.
His words. But also when you look at the movement, the Afrophobia movement, the gang, the people who are leading it are physically seen there. They are speaking. They are moving. It's a big crowd. It's just moving like a wave, and there is no police. There is no leadership. They can do anything they want.
Comrade Rumba.
Before you come, Comrade Rugarama, like I said last week, today the freedom that South Africa is enjoying is not out of their blood and sweat alone. No, it is out of the sacrifice of African blood, not South African blood, but African blood. The entire Africa stood. Even
beyond Africa, because we had the Cubans who actually perished at the Battle of Kwakwita, Canavaro. All of these Cubans were fighting for the liberation of the South Africa. They should not actually, South Africa, let me tell you, so these South Africans, and I raised it with some of our colleagues not long ago, South Africa. The only person I see who comes out and cuts a figure of a true Pan-Africans is actually Julius Malema.
Yes.
I'm not. I will join issues with you when you said, but the language, the body language of Ramaphosa, President Ramaphosa, is lacking in many respects. My take really is one. First of all, it is true when one concludes that, look, the freedom which South Africans are enjoying now is a freedom from the blood and sweat of the entire Africa and beyond. We have already admitted here that even the Cubans were part of the fight, and these are not necessarily Africans. We have also argued that the fight of the liberation of Africa from apartheid, South Africa from apartheid, was extending far away from even the frontline state members. Not just Zimbabwe, not Tanzania, not Mozambique, were the only countries, save for being members of the front line, that actually helped. Even Uganda here, we had our share in helping out the revolution, and they succeeded. Therefore, South Africans, old and young, even the unborn, they owe us immense respect, and they should not even think about it, that you can afford to even, by the way, forget about chase somebody from South Africa, even point an accusing finger, say you. No, it should always be, yes, my brother. And that should be said out of great respect. I told you here that we need to do a joint letter to the ambassador here in South Africa for the attention of the sitting government, and we also communicate to our brother, Comrade Julius Malema, to go and have an extended civic education, Pan-African education to our people in South Africa about how to live together, because they are conveniently forgetting. But I also have another angle. It's not just them. There are many things that have been happening which, if you choose to be limited in terms of reasoning, which, by the way, we have in great supply here on the African continent, people just select not to think, and they either bribe themselves.
They choose.
Or they choose.
Not to think.
No, not to think.
And it's not bad. And you said you have plenty of that.
Absolutely. We have a good percentage of them. They just don't.
Who choose not to think?
They just don't want to think. And they are comfortable with that. And this is one of the problems that we are facing on the African continent. Truth be told, of course I know there are so many other people elsewhere because we have moved there who also in one war or another just refuse to think. And you see, like we have had some of our senior political leaders, philosophers, thinkers tell us, where you stop thinking, the person who is thinking will come and displace you from where you are, and not only take your land over, but also take you on as a slave. And that's what has been happening. Those who were thinking better than others, they colonized them and they made them slaves. And the trend has not changed. Now, South Africa, they better be careful. And it's our responsibility. We can't see them go that way and we leave them. We have to give our contribution. Like we did when we were even less invited, but we thought it important that we should come in, and our great parents went there, stamped out apartheid. There is now Afrophobia. Forget about xenophobia. These guys are chasing away Ugandans, Zimbabweans, Mozambicans, Ghanaians, and Nigerians. All these people look like them. There is no difference between them and us. We are the same, so it is Afrophobia. Now, this is what is happening. Deeply, when you look at it from the deeper point of view, there is the presence and the smell of an imperialist. The white man who is controlling the economy, because the South African economy is largely really controlled by the white man. We have always argued back and forth as to who actually is the owner of this multinational Woolworths, MTN. Who are the brains behind it? Yes, originating from the South African soil, but who are the guys behind them? And we have said, therefore, that even the little, because we consider South Africa to be the second largest economy, or the largest, if you like, between them and Nigeria, they are always rivaling. But at the end of the day, who owns the South African economy? And because, like Thabo Mbeki said, the problem in South Africa is actually not the foreigners, so-called foreigners. Julius Malema captures it very well. There's no way you can call a Zimbabwean, a Nigerian, a Ugandan, a foreigner in South Africa. That's part of Africa. When I am in the sitting room and somebody who is in the bedroom, you say now they are in different parts of the world. No, that is the business of somebody from Bahrain, 1884-85, who said it that way. We must not go by the mistakes that were committed then. And in order to correct that impasse, in order to correct that problem, which we know was not created by us, we must deliberately move on to the business of making sure that we inculcate in the minds of the South Africans that, wait a minute, unemployment is not created by somebody from Uganda who is selling tomatoes, who is selling onions, who is on the streets of Durban, on the streets of Johannesburg and Alexandria. No, the problem is, but who is, like in the words of Comrade Julius Malema, who is controlling the mines? And therefore, how many jobs have been created from the mines? Who is building societies, the mining workers' society? And who is controlling the banking sector? Who is controlling the energy sector in South Africa? Who, therefore, decides how many of the jobs are going to be created in different private sector areas? That is where the problem is. If they do not address the unemployment from the macro point of view, they are not going to get the questions properly framed out. And the moment the questions are not properly framed out, you are not going to answer anything. You will just keep in circles. I want to conclude by saying, Afrophobia is not just a South African thing. No, it is an African thing. And Africa, we must be extra careful. The duty upon us, the Pan-Africans, is even higher. Why? because the black skin, globally speaking, wherever you want to go, not long ago, Joshua Maponga Marara, our brother, was telling us when he was in Latin America, the lower parts of America, where they largely speak Espanol and what have you. I think he was arrested in one of the countries, and he was put in detention for about 3 days. What was the problem? By the time he raised the South African ambassador, Zimbabwean ambassador, yes, to come and they restored him. The problem was that they were asking him to present, even when he presented a South African passport, he said, what is this? They wanted an American national ID. Are you an American? They thought he was an American. Now you can imagine, we have got that level of stupidity. This is what I was telling you. People who choose not to think, that they even don't know South Africa.
If he had carried the American ID,
nobody would touch him.
They would even have given him first class.
Absolutely. Why? That frame of mind has been instilled in so many people, by the way, across the globe. And that is where we stop thinking. Because the concept of thinking is to unwrap this envelope. If it is a gift, we unwrap it and say, what is the magnitude of this gift? What is its color? What is smell? Is it for consumption? Is it for visual appreciation? And for me, one of the things that signal that we are not yet here, Africa is not yet there, is the Afrophobia, which we mistakenly call xenophobia.
You know, something is really baffling me. Comrade Rugarama, you are chasing a Ugandan from South Africa who is a cleaner, who is a sangoma, who is probably a teller in the bank. And you're saying they are taking your jobs. Yet back home, there is an MTN, there is a Stanbic Bank, there is a gold mining company, multiple of them, you know. There is a brewery company that are taking billions of money per day, not per week, billions per day, back to South Africa. But you are here chasing a Ugandan from South Africa that you are taking our jobs. These South African companies, especially the tourism companies, banking sector, mining sector, they are everywhere in Africa. Everywhere. But you are the same person complaining that these other natives of other countries in Africa are taking your jobs in South Africa. What about you? So that shows you the level of selfishness, but also the level of myopia by those. And by the way, this Afrophobia is not being championed by people who have studied the history of South Africa. Like you cannot find the likes of the Julius Malemas, the Nelson Mandela family,
the
Thabo Mbeki. You cannot. Why? Because they understand the history of their own struggle.
Yes.
They appreciate. But today, you have people who have just grown up and they did not see the impact of apartheid. They have not seen, probably they have not appreciated the impact of racial segregation in your own land. White against black. Not black against white, but white against black in your own land.
By the way,
then a brother from Uganda.
It has not gone away.
Yes, a brother comes from Uganda, comes and fights for you. He even gives you a pathway from South Africa to Uganda, trains you in Kawaweta here, and then he sends you back better equipped to go and fight for yourself. And a country like Algeria, they opened up the entire country for them, for South Africa, even up to date. Now, people who appreciate that history, that we are one, they cannot support what is happening because South Africa has been called one, I think the biggest, if not the second biggest, largest economy in Africa. Is it true that all the economics is within their territory, that they get all that money, or it is the economy is supported by their own in South Africa. Is that true?
No.
It is being supported by every other person from Africa and elsewhere.
Synergies. We need
Yes.
to look at synergies. What
So,
are the synergies?
Today when you say these are taking my jobs, what about you who is taking their resources?
But even that is wrong. You see, the point we are making is that, and that was clearly stated by Julius Malema. He said, you people, here, not long ago, in Alexandria, they chased away well close to, was it 300? Yeah, 300 plus. Whom you called foreigners. He said, South Africans, did you take those jobs?
Did you create? Did you?
Because the assumption was that after chasing away the 300,
You
then
get
the jobs
300.
were created, and then the South Africans would do those jobs.
Yes.
Did you take up those jobs? Nothing. You say, what were type of jobs? Because you see, at the end of the day, we must also look at the quality of the jobs. What are we saying? Did anybody have an appointment letter? Nothing. Are you assured of certain benefits accruing from your appointment letter? Nothing. He says, are you aware of who is controlling the mines? Are you aware of who is controlling the banking sector in South Africa? Why are you fighting your brothers over things which you actually even don't know?
You even can't do that.
You yourself, you're even not interested in the little that is being done. But all of a sudden, you're fighting. And I would not agree with him more. Truth be told, as we probably wind up, because I see you looking at your watch. Truth be told, I think the question of Afrophobia is a question that needs concerted efforts. Because when we let it be a responsibility of just South Africans, who, by the way, are baffling me. Because these are people, again, who went and opened a case at ICJ against the Israelis.
Israel in
Gaza.
Yes,
Gaza
for
Strip.
killing Palestinians. We have got no business really, not even by geography, with those people. But from that Ubuntu, the
Humanitarian.
Pan-African,
Yes.
and we supported them as Pan-African, up to now. You see? And you ask yourself, if they could do such a thing,
for the other ones.
for the
Why
other,
not their
what
brother?
about their very own brother? You see, and that's where we come up to say, look, this is not something that we should leave to the South Africans. There is a problem, of course, with the government, because we want to believe that compared to all the governments, right from Nelson Mandela, immediately after the so-called overthrow of apartheid, which still exists, but at least not as it was before, we have seen leaderships of the Ramaphosa's, Thurman Mbekes. I think the worst, I mean the Zuma's rather, the worst leadership has been that one of Ramaphosa. He has not really cut out a figure of a very serious president, with all due respect. And I find him, he confuses me because he's neither hot nor cold. He's at ICJ, takes a legal team there. They are the ones sponsoring them. The legal team, they are making some global scores. He's telling the Trump administration to their face that we are an imperialist, doing wrong things here. But again, when he comes back home, the things he does or he allows to be done under his watch, actually a testimony that is not that strong.
You know, I am looking, I want you to visualize a scenario where a white man is standing at the top of his apartment in South Africa, rooftop of his apartment. That apartment is seated on a land that he killed your ancestors and acquired. He killed your ancestors, acquired that land, built up an apartment. He's now on top of that apartment, looking down at two Africans fighting each other. Please leave South Africa. You're not a South African. You're Ugandan. Please go. Then I am giving you a deadline up to 30th May. Come 1st June. If you have not left this country where you are a foreigner to your own country, Uganda, you will see what will happen. The white man is watching. I want you to visualize that. The white man is watching. He's watching under.
You cannot imagine the level of intellectual deficiency. We have, with all due respect, really, there is when certain the supply of deficiency is in abundant amounts that you cannot help but call it the way it is. Because when you look at this Afrophobia and you want to believe that the black man, there was an interview where a white lady was asking the vigilantes, these ones who carry out house-to-house search for the so-called non-South Africans. He said, but I'm here. I'm an English lady. I'm not a South African. And you're not after me. He said, no, for you, okay. And that, to me, was not just a random statement. First of all, the question was very deliberate and it was well asked. The answer is what killed me and still pains me. That we can have that level of intellectual deficiency being exposed, and the administration under Ramaphosa allows it to flourish without any hindrance. Itself is a manifestation that among other problems we have, one of them that we must tackle is the problem of intellectual bankruptcy.
Very good. Comrade Billions-Rugarama Karuchiko, in a few minutes, we want to rotate now from South Africa to Kenya. Kenya. And you know what's the problem?
No, sir.
That you're saying there is Ebola in Kenya, or there might be, or you suspect there will be Ebola in Kenya, and there are Americans in Kenya. The Americans in Kenya, their president in America calls you, the president of Kenya, William Ruto, and says, please zone out for me a place where my people can be, for purposes of saving them, cutting them off from your Kenyans for their own safety in your country. And after saying that statement, Trump sugarcoats it with billions of money. Yes, this is how they steal us. They will never say such a bad thing and leave it to go without attaching some money. They will have some money around it. So the hustler Ruto is looking at the man. I grew up from the village. You'd see like these rats. So you'd get this trap. You get this hook. You put some ginnets. So the rat comes. The rat has seen this is a trap, and it will kill me. But then the rat wants the ginnets. So it starts rotating around the trap, as it rotates, getting more hungrier. And now it is seeing even that it is possible to remove.
The appetite is
finally, it says, maybe it is not.
If I die, I die.
It goes. This is what these Americans, Trump, is doing to Africa. He is doing a completely wrong thing, but attaching money. And when he attaches money, William Ruto is taking a lot of time explaining the goodness of this idea. That in your country, let's get a part to zone it off for Americans. Trump is defending it. It is only the Kenyans who are refusing William Ruto. But William Ruto is very okay. And in his explanation, I followed very well. He said, these are our good friends. They are supporting us in many ways. They are supporting our health system. Even when they put up this Ebola zone after some time, they will leave it for us. It will be ours. Very hopeless man.
I don't know. Probably.
But let me finish.
Please.
William Ruto has forgotten where he has come from. If his ancestors were transactional leaders, his elders, if they were transactional leaders, Ruto wouldn't have found that Kenya intact. No, he wouldn't have found that Kenya intact. There are people, is it the Mau Mau? Mau Mau. People died for Kenya's sovereignty. Kenya's sovereignty. Kenya's land. Somebody is coming, cutting an entire big thing to put his own people. I mean, after so many years, if they occupied, how sure are you that they will leave? When did America ever occupy a place and they leave? Under what conditions? And how sure are you, what are they going to be doing from there? The entire East African region refused to give America a resting space for their NATO activities. It is only William Ruto who gave them a base to come and sit down and plan from near to see how to conquer East Africa. William Museveni has been in power for over 40 years now. You think he has never got those advances from America?
Yes, a lot of.
He refused. Why did he refuse? Why don't you ask him? Rwanda, Kagame, why don't you ask him? William Ruto is becoming too monetary. His mind, and he's betraying his own brothers. When America wanted to hire machinery to go and die in what is that country?
It is in
Haiti.
Haiti.
They could not go further than Kenya. They are dying. But there is no brother, there is no sister, there is no cousin of William Ruto dying from Haiti. No, it is other Kenyans. Rugarama, what's wrong with Ruto? If I may ask you.
You know, me, I will just say a few things. One, it is unfortunate that when
The producer is chasing you.
Comrade Ruto was...
Use 2 minutes and then we will also talk about the cabinet.
Okay, fine. One is that I will say that Comrade William Ruto, when he came, there is a phase he had where he was moving around the continent talking Pan-Africanism. He had hoodwinked us into believing that he's one of the firebrand Pan-Africanists who was going to reignite the fire of the American Cabrals and join the Ibrahim Traore.
Supported him.
So we thought that he was, but again, Julius Marima warned us. He said, I'm looking at my senior brother William Ruto here, blowing hot and cold. So I don't know what he is in actual fact. And when we finally had the internal misfortunes, the Gen Zs in Kenya, we were exposed to probably the poor administrative methods that our senior brother Comrade Ruto was employing. I'm not sure that he has gotten cured from those poor administrative methods. It is unfortunate that I want to conclude this with the words of Thomas Sankara, when he said that my brothers and sisters, if you ever see a white man praise me, you know I have betrayed you. I want to believe that the praises I have had being heaped on William Ruto by the white men, including at one time him going and sitting in the White House where the president sits, are testimony that we have been betrayed by our brother.
And I want you to discuss this in a Pan-African context. Not these arguments you have seen on socials. The cabinet lineup and the cabinet vetting of Uganda. one outstanding issue is about Dr. Lawrence Muganga. They are saying Dr. Lawrence Muganga is not Ugandan. Yes, he is either Rwandese or Canadian. However, Dr. Muganga was born in Uganda, fed in Uganda, educated in Uganda, only exited the country for further studies and further youthful job employment opportunities.
And his parents are buried.
They are buried here. I can tell you that when you're a youth, you're a young man, you have a lot of aspirations, you have a lot of hopes, you have a lot of things you're looking at, you have dreams. And any pathway that can lead you to achieving those dreams, for as long as it is not criminal, one will take them, including you and me. The primary issue here would be, does Muganga have really roots in Uganda? For instance, the first thing we look at is, where are your parents? That they were living here and they died here. Where were you born? I was born here. Where are you going to be buried? I'm going to be buried here. We as Africa, or as Pan-Africans, especially under the Pan-African pyramid, we are championing a vision whereby, Comrade Rugarama, when we are here, Comrade Rugarama, I don't want to know your geographical boundaries. I don't want to know that you came from Rwanda. I don't want to know that you are a South African. I don't want to know that you are Burkinabe. That doesn't matter. In the Africa that we envisage, what matters is the blood that joins us. Because there are brothers who live in diaspora. Some of them even have never stepped in Africa, but we take them as our brothers. Especially those whose parents were actually forced into slavery and they were born there. Martin Luther King Jr. You get it? Malcolm X. So, here is a Muganga. All along has been doing his job well until the head of state says, you have been doing extraordinary things in Uganda. I give you this responsibility. Then hell breaks out. You are not Ugandan. Do we, Rugarama, can you convince me that this spirit of the East African community, ESC, that spirit, can you convince me that we actually know what it means if we are still engaged in cocooning people in Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania, yet we are saying East African community? But also beyond East African community, these regional blocks, ECOWAS and so on. Because when you go to West Africa, to the Sahel region, they are working in those regional blocks. Now, East Africa also has its regional block. But beyond all that, there is the Africa that we want. The United States of Africa, one country. When you see these happenings in Uganda, does it give you a hope that we are actually almost reaching there in terms of uniting Africa? Do you get that visual interpretation? Do you see a picture that actually we are walking the journey? We are halfway, or we are so much kilometers to reach our destiny. Do you see that coming? Or we are simply going to continue talking. Somebody here in Uganda calls you my brother, but actually in the back, he's actually stabbing you in the back. He just said the word for the sake of saying it. He doesn't even know the meaning. He does not attach the meaning of brotherhood. I told you I went to Burkina Faso. A mere eating alone in my plate was almost causing me problems. This guy said, hey, you said you were brother. I said, yes. How come you're eating alone? I said, but we have all ordered for food. Mine has come first. Why don't I eat? They said, no. What we do here as brothers, we eat together. You have made your order, which is different from mine, different from the others. So what we do is we open the food. All of us speak from each other. That is brotherhood. We don't even use forks. No, we use our hands. So let me see who will poison the other when we have eaten from the same plate. You see that level of brotherhood combat? You see that? So when you look at the East African community here, when you look at it, first of all, Uganda and Rwanda have so much to do together. My uncle, Rugarama, now let me tell you, my uncle is called Safari. When after the war, winning the battle here, my own uncle, after winning the battle here in Uganda in '86, he's among the guys who crossed to Rwanda with Kagame, Rwigema, and now Mejokwira and so on. They went and fought for Rwanda's independence. Up to now, he's there. Up to now, he's there. He's Rwandese. He fought for Rwanda. He fought for Uganda. Now tomorrow, if he wants to stand for Chairman LC1, or the president appoints him as, you say, for you, you're Ugandan. But when we were in the bush,
how convenient.
When we were in the bush,
how come you never raised it?
Now look at Major Okwi. Okwi, after fighting in Uganda, he went to Rwanda. Suppose he had died in Rwanda, or if they appoint him tomorrow as somebody, he say, but for you, Ugandan. But at the battlefront, you were not looking for Ugandans and Rwandese. You were looking for brothers to fight for a just cause. Go on.
First of all, let me just commence this by re-echoing the words of our brother, once again Maponga, Joshua Malala, where he said that the African democracy is nothing but the facade. It's just a smoke screen. You don't need that. He says actually we need political dictatorship, that military, called it military dictatorship, to fix things, you know, where things are going through bureaucracy, red tape. We need to fix them militarily. Give the wananchi a decent living. And what we see playing out in parliament, vetting, first of all, the members that vet others, a good number of them, I know there are some who are very good, and the time they are allowed to vet itself is extremely limited. The people who are vetting, some of them are actually candidates who should be vetted, and some don't even qualify to be vetted anyway. We know how they got there, a good number of them, although some, it is recorded that they generally are in that house. On average, I think each person they were vetting was having 3 to 5 minutes. You vet somebody on the strength of a CV. You have not even called, if I have written that I used it to be a catechist. You have not even vetted me from my church, whether truly I was a catechist. If I have presented on my CV that I possess a master's degree, you have not cross-checked with my university actually why did I get it. Well, I'm just reflecting it on the CV, and that's it. So the 3-5 minutes shows you that the vetting itself is problematic. Now, because Parliament has continuously gotten bashings, yes, I agree that Dr. Lawrence Mugangi is not the very first one. There have been a number of ministers in the past that had issues in one way or another. But at the end of the day, we want to look at this question of our brother Dr. He's our friend, first of all. He's in the Pan-African ranks. He has been doing Pan-African jobs through education sector.
He's actually a recipient of the Pan-African Award.
I was there.
Under the education, yes.
Yes,
You were there.
I witnessed.
Yes.
So
He
therefore,
revolutionized education
there is no way.
for the African side.
Yes, but we are already dealing with a problematic thing. What is this problematic thing? That we have got laws which are colonial. We have got geographical boundaries which are colonial. We judge each other from the colonial lenses. I'm even not surprised that when you strictly look at what we call our law, when you strictly look at our law, it says that certain gazetted offices, including the one which Mugangi was going to occupy, or better still is going to occupy, because he has not been, the appointing authority has not made his reply, you see. And when you look at what they did, because I've seen KTA advocates, they have complied, he's used them, they have made sure that he complies with renunciation. But the broader picture should be, really, when you look at the circumstances of Uganda, a man that was born here, a man that studied here, all the parents are here. Forget about these little things of ours here. You see, when you talk, you say, now look, a whole lawyer is the one talking like that. But no, I don't want anybody to box me in that corner. No, at the end of the day, my field is Pan-Africanism. Law is just a small thing. Yes, I know what the law provides. And even when you look at the law, by the way, even if they say that you must not hold certain offices, including the office that Dr. Lawrence Muganga was going to occupy, when you are not a Ugandan, as per the laws of Uganda, there is a window. The window is, unless you renounce, and we know how Muganga, at least we have been explained to, got these other nationalities or citizenship. But the window, and according to our law, is that you renounce. And he has indeed renounced. Question is, did he renounce badly? Did he renounce and the committee didn't take him seriously? We leave all that to the appointing authority. For me, I want to conclude this by saying that the bigger picture here is that if we were really wearing our Pan-African lenses and mind, we would have looked at Dr. Lawrence Muganga. And I believe the magnanimous Yoweri Kaguta Museveni appointing authority will prevail over the vetting committee, not to influence them, to show them, and in accordance with the available information now that has come to us, that actually Dr. Lawrence Muganga, away even from the Pan-African broader spectrum, that look, the bigger picture is that Dr. Lawrence Muganga is one man that we should have in our cabinet, because he has shown that there is something he can contribute to society, and when you bring him into here, he's such a heavy human resource that we need.
You see, why did the appointing authority, from the 50 million Ugandans,
Zero. Yes.
Because of his extraordinary
Absolutely.
contributions that he has made to society.
Absolutely.
So, if he's a Canadian, why did he go to Canada, acquire skills? Why did he go to Rwanda, acquire skills, and come back here and implement it here?
These are some of the...
Where is his spirit? Because, comrade, I have traveled around the world. Everywhere I go, I was in Burkina Faso, I was in Ghana. Everywhere I go, Kenya, where? Rwanda. I pick out. Okay, every society has their own weaknesses. But for me, when I go, I pick the positives.
Yes.
When I pick the positives, I bring them here.
That's the most
I start practicing them here. If Muganga does not have the Ugandan spirit, the man has traveled all those countries. Not just Canada and Rwanda alone. No, the man has been to about 56 countries of the world. Everywhere he has gone, he has picked knowledge and skill. And finally he came and settled in his motherland. Now, when he started, by the way, when he was away, what were we doing with the rest of the genuine Ugandans, the 100%? What were you doing? How come he came and found a window, a weakness, where he could now add his contribution? How come?
For me,
so, the appointing authority saw something special in Muganga.
absolutely.
And if you're scared that, this man, because he has two legs, they are stepping in both countries, he may become disloyal to Uganda and become loyal to Rwanda. Leave that to the commander-in-chief. Museveni is not your type. You think Museveni doesn't know? You think Museveni is stupid that he can put Muganga there and he sleeps?
And all the ministries.
You think you understand you understand security and spy than Museveni? He can put you there. He can put you there. Huh? And you even if you wanted to,
will put layers.
Even if you wanted to, by the way, even if Muganga wanted to,
that would even stop
he
him
cannot
from doing it.
He cannot.
Assuming that's what he was going. For me, really,
so
I had already almost concluded on this. But let me, from your submissions just now, let me just state like this. Yes, we can, because I read Dr. Honorable Winnie Yanyima Besi
tweet. Yes, I also read it.
And they were saying, okay, to be really, these are questions of law, and if questions of law have been put to Muganga, these are straight questions, let Muganga answer them.
Respond.
And I don't think that Muganga is the type that would fail to answer questions.
He cannot.
That's one.
Yes.
And most importantly, I think from what we have seen so far, that actually a good number of them, if not all of them, he has answered them. For me, I want to state that the broader Pan-African picture is that Muganga should have been qualified as early as yesterday. The smaller legalities questions here and there are that Muganga complies with them because he has all that it takes to comply with them. If he has not complied with them. But finally, amidst all this, I'm looking at a picture where the president, the appointing authority, is going to prevail over this situation, and we are not going to miss out, at least in this particular respect, the services of Dr. Royce.
But let me also address this smoke screen as our senior elder Maponga always teaches us. This smoke screen about protecting the law, that they are defending the constitution. Comrade Rugarama, the law in Uganda is being used for convenience.
It is a spear rather than a shield.
Exactly. Some of them are using it as a walking stick. If you are saying you are defending the constitution, let's face it, comrade. There are 4 people with similar challenges. Similar challenges. In fact, Yatsudu could have flown back here when he was appointed. He has not been here.
No, you came as a SEC member. You remember he's an MP also in Soroti.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
He's married to the daughter to one of the former senators.
Exactly. Most of the times where is he? But I don't want to go personal. I'm just being, I don't want to go personal. But there were 4 people with similar challenges. If you are protecting the constitution, how come
the appointing was not able to say that.
How come the other 3 were able to go through? Why didn't the constitution, if you are reading,
the law must be applied evenly.
Number two, even these very ministers who have been in government, some of them have no citizenship.
Even their children are worse.
Some of them are not even here.
Yes.
Number four. Comrade Rugarama, you and I know that the president appointed 82 ministers. Isn't that correct? 82. Are you aware that one of the ministers has not been vetted? And in the last term, this minister was vetted under via Zoom. Is it provided under their own rules of engagement
Apparently, I'm told that that is also provided for in their rules of procedure. But I haven't addressed my mind directly to that.
Do you know what Parliament does? Parliament is the only institution in Uganda that makes laws, but also puts a window for themselves to break the law. Have you watched Parliament at certain point going to commit an illegality, but then one of the members stands and asks that the what do they call it? That they first set aside the rule I don't know the right context.
Yes.
You can be in the middle of something, and an illegality comes and says, no, a member applies for the rules to be first set aside.
It is also provided.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. That's what it is. The only institution in Uganda that makes laws, but also puts it a window for itself to break the same. That you can be discussing an illegality, you commit an illegality, but in order to safeguard yourselves from accountability, a member raises up and says, let us first set aside this law. We first commit our illegality, then we bring it back. Not even the president has that power. No one. No one in the country.
That is
no one.
That is parliament for you.
Yes. Parliament is the only institution in Uganda that has the power to choose how much money they would like to pay themselves at any time.
They said their salaries.
They set their own salaries. No one, even the president doesn't have. So there is no provision for Zoom. But they went and set it aside and created it. But also, more interesting is this one. The person you appointed via Zoom has never appeared before you physically for the entire time. Rugarama, you cannot tell me I have appointed Rugarama via Zoom. He has not been able to see me, but he has served the entire 5-year term without meeting me as a committee, and it is okay. And they have brought back that person for reappointment, and this person has not come again. And you are going to vet him or her again via Zoom, and the person will continue serving. There are issues to do with this person's ministry. Very, very strong issues that needed response at least. And then you do best from those responses to see whether this person qualifies to be reappointed again in the same ministry. Because there are so many challenges in this person's ministry. For you to vet him or her, you would be based on whether his or her last term was done properly. Then you basically say, yes, he has done a good job. I think it is okay. No. This parliament is not addressing itself to that. No, it is Muganga. If you are saying you are protecting the rule of law, you also look there. Look there. You say, last time we appointed you via Zoom, we have spent 5 years, we've never seen you. We cannot appoint you again via Zoom. We have issues. We even want to see whether what we appointed is still living. Did we vet? Have you seen on computer? Have you seen on computer? Wait. Have you seen on computer when you're applying, when you're entering certain application, they tell you to confirm whether you're not a robot, whether you're human. They send you certain figures to feed them in, to confirm that I am dealing with a human. How sure is the parliament that they are dealing with the human? So that would be the first contention. By the way, 5 years ago we appointed somebody via Zoom. We've never seen this person. This person has again reappeared. We want to see this person. No, they are not going. We are guarding the rule of law. On Muganga only. So you cannot take Muganga, Comrade Rugarama. I'm a student of law. I know how law in Uganda is being used as a walking stick. I know. I know what the law provides, and I know what practically is being done in Uganda. So, on the question of Muganga, it is only sectarianism and tribalism at play. Nothing else. This is what I'm saying. I am talking from a Pan-African perspective. I'm talking from a legal point of view. That if it's a legal aspect, then it should not kill an eye on any person. No, for as long as you fall short of these provisions, all of you should what? Should go. But you cannot say, no, it is a practice. Every 5 years we drop one, and now it is you. No.
I think that was just a statement made in passing. However, there are what we call institutional culture. Sometimes, like I said, Parliament, be it the 8th, 6th, 7th, up to the 11th Parliament have always blocked people. And they may think that by not having at least one culprit, we are also going to be painted in bad light. That for us we pass everybody. Now they want to behave like RODC. RODC
so you are pleasing your name on Muganga.
They made it a habit that the higher the rate of failure, the more serious they will be taken as people, as an institution, which is, whereas when you go to progressive, more advanced, serious institutions, it is the pass rate. They will say, after if you fail students, if you fail a good number of students, or even one, they will ask you to appear before a board to explain. Were you not teaching? What happened? In fact, it would be better for us from vetting committee to get a report showing us how they have vetted and they pass everybody. It would also be a plus on the appointing authority that he did a very good. We have no problem with the people who going through.
You are visionary. But what is the problem also? If the last time you failed one, what's the problem this time not failing any? If you have been failing one,
or even eight, if don't qualify, why must it be one?
So now for LDC, how can I study for 4 years? Low. 4 years.
Yes.
Then I failed for 9 months.
Not only just one. If you see, if it was one, that's possible. If it was out of, say, for instance, 600, I mean, 600 or what? If maybe 50 were having issues. But here is a case where 170 are the ones who are going to be okay. Then 400 something are going to fail, and then an institution is not. That should be the entire team should be called to explain, and they should suspend them.
Yes, but the argument I want to leave with you watching us is, I cannot spend 4 years studying something, then you come and interrogate me for 9 months, and you get, this is a degree. You have given me a degree. Then for you, I fail your certificate. And you say, because you have failed the certificate, therefore your degree is useless. You cannot continue. A certificate over a degree.
You call it postgraduate diploma. Those are some of the challenges. But like I said, for me, really, let me finally say this. That these debates, when you invite us here, and we debate for purposes of improving ourselves and improving the society.
Yes.
But it would not stop me from emphasizing the fact that the most important thing as far as the debate is concerned is that we share ideas to improve ourselves and improve people outside there. Because nobody claims absolute custodianship of knowledge.
And that's not Comrade Billions-Rugarama Karukiko. Thank you so much, our comrades who are following us here. And this is the Pan-African Weekly Roundtable. Our partner sponsors NBS Television, who runs this show every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. We thank you so much for supporting Pan-Africanism. Dr. Kim Karisa, I salute you, sir.
Free your mind now. Be part of the People's Pan-African Parliament. The Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe.